Once upon a time, there lived a rock. And that was about it for 1,000 years.
It's okay, Rocky. You go when you feel like it.
But this wasn't just any rock. It could take on the form of anything dead that touches it. With its newfound mobility, the rock commits identity theft and befriends the original owner of him. Which, if you ask me, is kinda psychotic. But we can't be too hard on him. He's a rock. No, Rocky, don't touch that! But this frozen wasteland, known only as Canada, is no place for a boy and his rock. So the two prepare to make the long journey to paradise. After days of wandering, they stumble on their first sign of life.
これメッセージだ。この方向へ進めって。
I'm honestly impressed. In most anime, if a single drop of rain touches you, it's an instant fever. But this dude fell into a freezing river and is totally fine. Uh-oh. He's a goner. By some miracle, Rocky makes it all the way to paradise completely unscathed. Oh shit! A polar bear. Does anyone have a small child we can sacrifice? The village elders get summoned to perform the sacred ritual of choosing.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
But March is going through her rebellious phase.
マーチ死にたくないんだけど。
Puberty, am I right?
あなたが逃げたら代わりにラーラが死にますよ。
Luckily, she lands right next to Rocky, and his hideous appearance scares the guards off. By no choice of his own, March becomes his legal guardian and changes his name to Fushi, which, if you ask me, is kind of a weird thing to name a rock. Don't you think, Frank?
Meanwhile,
March's friend Perona made a very convincing March doll in an attempt to pull the old switcheroo on the demon Hayase. But Hayase knows all too well that the real March would never stop talking this long. So she sacrifices Perona to the polar bear. What? No, now's not the time for target practice. Oh. Well, that's convenient. She landed right next to where March was being sacrificed. Wait, Fushi, why weren't you watching her? Fair enough. By transforming into his ultimate form, Fushi's defense is raised to God tier.
あれは。神の御業か。
With polar bears now extinct, the trio are free to go, so they catch a lift into the city with the very same demon lady that literally just tried to kill them. But I'm sure she's changed. The new Hayase would never poison their ramen and toss them in prison. Fushi tries to escape by digging a tunnel, but decides prison might actually not be so bad. So it's up to Perona to save them. And for some reason, they take Psycho Granny with them. Well, that was easy. Maybe a little too easy. Peroma, why don't you take off the armor that's protecting your vital organs and instead wear it on your wrists? Okay, yeah, this is more fun. March, this might be a good time to start listing your goals.
とにかく今知らない全部のことを知りたいわ。
Ambitious, I like it. Okay, let's see. What else would be helpful? Completely overcome with rage, Fushi goes on a rampage through the city. Unable to cope with March's death, Peroma loses her will to live and says her final goodbye. With Fushi oblivious to the demon lady hot on his trail, it is up to Peroma to stop her.
外したんだ。
大丈夫。いつか上手くなるって。
It doesn't take long before Fushi crosses paths with the Psycho Granny, aka Piran, who it turns out is shockingly good at drawing maps. So he lets her tag along, and in return, she teaches him how to draw and how to speak.
This is a tree, this is a flower, and this is a Neet.
Hey, Only kinda. The dynamic duo make their way across the sea, but with new adventures comes new dangers. And some wounds, Fushi can't heal. The overpowered ficus not only stole the boy's form, but Fushi's memory of him as well. But at least he still has his most powerful form. Rocky, no! I guess he's still got the puppy? Okay, the bear? With no choice left, Fushi transforms into March and risks the memory of his dear adopted mother with the hope of recovering his other forms.
変なの
My thoughts exactly. They arrive at a strange tower, home to an even stranger man and his adopted son/slave, Gugu, who he quote-unquote rescued after Gugu almost died trying to save the girl he loved from a runaway hot dog. But really, he just kidnapped and experimented on him. Hence the mask. And the belly. So impressed by Fushi's godlike ability, the old man puts him to work at his craft brewery, and Fushi and the freak become fast friends.
ブサイク
But Gugu wasn't the only one injured in the hot dog incident. The girl he supposedly saved was left even more hideously disfigured than he was. As the newest hire/slave, she quickly falls in love, but not with Gugu. She just couldn't resist Fushi's Chad-like demeanor.
服の脱ぎ方もなんちゃって
When's someone gonna teach me? Jealous, Gugu vows to one day become even chattier than Chad himself. But he doesn't make it far before learning the old man only saved him in order to use his body as a marketing ploy for a new microbrew. Heartbroken, Gugu returns to his old Eurocamp ways. But his laid-back lifestyle gets interrupted by Reen coming to brag about how hard it is being rich. And they bond over their shared need for a mask. Though I'm not sure I'd put disguising yourself to run away from your rich parents on the same level as not having any. But they have bigger fish to fry. While trying to escape Reen's nanny, they are once again attacked by Ficus-chan. While Fushi focuses on defense, Gugu has an idea. He's gonna need a refill. Stumbling back to the tower, he comes face to face with Reen's parents, and it's revealed that by no choice of her own, Reen is already engaged to be wed.
リーさんを一番愛してるのはこの俺
After a quick confession, Gugu gets back in the action, saving Fushi just before his most powerful form can be taken.
5 years later.
Having been years since Fushi has had the need to transform, he's starting to see signs of manhood. Meanwhile, puberty hit Gugu harder than the sausage did. Now 15-year-old Reen has fallen head over hot dog for old Gugu, admiring his kindness and resolve. And totally nothing to do with him having rock hard abs. But his body is not the only thing that's gotten an upgrade. Functional and fashionable, perfect for Reen's Sweet 16. While the boys head to the party, Gramps gives a heartfelt speech about Gugu's bright future, which is basically like writing his name in a death note.
I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
Fushi, being the thoughtful rock he is, picked out the perfect gift for any 16-year-old girl.
Potatoes.
And Gugu comes clean that it was him who saved her all those years ago, and never told her because the only thing worse than a gruesome death by dog is having a tiny scratch on your arm. Careful! You might scratch her again. With the entire mansion crumbling to pieces, Fushi must decide between saving his best friend in the world or a random puppy. Good choice. At the last second, Gugu manages to grab onto... Oh, what the heck is that? I'd rather fall to my death. The townsfolk work together and save him from a tickly death. After their last battle, Ficus-chan realized what true power is and evolved into... a rock. Just before Gugu reaches his inevitable demise, Reen returns the favor and pushes him out of harm's way and directly into more harm's way. In a moment of desperation, Fushi changes into his newest form, confirming that I was right all along. Gugu's dead. Oh, and obviously I'm like sad about it. As rock, paper, scissors has taught us, only one thing beats rock. And that's water, I guess? What follows, I honestly don't really understand. Fushi pretends to be Gugu and tells Rin it was actually Fushi who died, which doesn't bother her in the slightest, then proceeds to abandon her without saying a word. And somehow that's meant to be easier for Rin to cope with. But whatever. On to the next arc. After walking alone for days, Fushi calls out to the one who created him. And he learns that Ficus-chan is actually what's called the Knocker, and will never stop hunting him as long as he lives. With Gugu no longer around to cook her meals, Pioran grew hungry and hunted down Fushi for another nibble on his delicious thighs. Using one of Pioran's maps, they decide to head out to sea. What a kind girl. I bet she'd never poison their ramen and toss them in prison. At least not the ramen part. The nice girl who kidnapped him... Okay, Tonari explains that the island is a prison holding only the most heinous of criminals. Murderers, kidnappers, and worst of all, people who pirate anime. The only way to save Pioran and escape this godforsaken place was to win the arena and become the new island chief. Are you kidding? He literally just said. It doesn't take long before a clear winner is decided. His victory became the talk of the town. And whether he liked it or not, Fushi was now a rock star. Get it? Nobody asked, but okay. What is wrong with you people? Like the shoe? Great, are we done? Not again! Help! Fushi learns that Pioran actually was a wanted criminal due to her unbelievably trash taste, and is being held in a prison within the prison. In his next battle, Fushi digs deep into his memory hole and transforms into Perona, who must have died in a freak target practice accident. Overcome with what I think to be hunger, Fushi's opponent dives right into his foot. While Fushi comes to terms with outliving yet another friend, Oompa Loompa and the gang prepare a feast. After another easy victory, Fushi and Tonari attempt to befriend his opponent, Ryu from Street Fighter, but can't even squeeze in a quick Hadouken before being brutally attacked. But also, right off the bat, Knocker-chan steals Fushi's two most powerful forms, Gugu and Rock, leaving him powerless. Oh, don't even bother. The only thing she shoots is targets, and even that's iffy. Wait, is that Naruto? No, even better! It's Boruto! Fushi, now! At long last, all of Fushi's memories are returned safely to him. And so the final round of the tournament begins, and this time Fushi's opponent is the demon Hayase. Enraged, Fushi forgoes defense, and in his haste, forgets Hayase's specialty is poisonous ramen. As the new leader of the island, Hayase converts its people to the Church of Fushianity, which basically gives her carte blanche access to lick his body as much as she'd like. But thank the Lord of Fushianity, because just before she can lick away his innocence, Tonari burst through the door and brought Chair-kun with her.
10秒あげます。10、9。
Why don't you take a seat? With Hayase distracted, Fushi seizes his chance. But rather than just kill her and be done with it, he strikes a deal. One lick for every person Tonari can take off the island.
船に乗れるのは最大で700人だ。
Oh god. Tonari decides to only free the island's children.
俺は多分7歳だ。
Checks out. But as the old saying goes, fool Fushi once, shame on you. Fool Fushi twice, shame on him. Fool Fushi 3 times, and honestly he deserves to live out the rest of his days in the bottom of a well. Waking up on the ship, Tonari is a little itchy, I guess. But she also realized that someone was missing, and Tonari never leaves a friend behind. So she leaves all her friends behind and heads back for Chair-kun. Oh, speak of the devil, looks like Fushi had him all along. But just as they're about to set sail, they realize they lost Chair-kun again. Running back to the village to look for him, they find the Knockers have completely taken over one of the island's tourist attractions. And the Knocker zombies have them completely outnumbered. And just when all hope seems lost, Chair-kun swoops in to save the day. Oh, and also you 4, yay, you 3, 2. Dropping like flies, the neighbor kids beg Fushi to save them. But the years he spent living a quiet life with Gugu did not prepare him for times like this. And having seen so much death, Fushi just can't bring himself to cause another. But his hesitation backfires and results in yet another friend's death. After crushing a Knocker with her bicep, Hayase sets her sights on Tonari and once again, Fushi refuses to finish the job. But I'm sure this time she's learned her lesson. Fushi burns the rest of the Nokis, leaving only 4 remaining. No! They got Chair-kun! But when did they... Hayase, I never would have thunk it! If Fushi won't kill her, someone has to. So Tonari sacrifices herself in order to end things once and for all. For f***'s sake. Okay, no, it's fine. I'm sure this time she learned her lesson, right? With the island in shambles, Tonari chooses to stay and lead the people to a brighter future, putting a ban on all killing. Seems unlikely, but it's a nice sentiment. And so Fushi departs the island with his new girlfriend.
あなたを愛しています。
But it turns out that she's a bit clingy for his taste, so he leaves her to suffer a slow buoyant death. Returning to the mainland, Fushi is joined by Pioran, and the two set out on their next adventure. But it's not long before Pioran's age catches up to her, and what little sanity she had left starts to fade. Until one day, death finds her, and with her last breath, she wishes to be reborn as something more useful to Fushi. Like a new waifu, perhaps? If you'd like to see more of my anime recaps, you can click this playlist here. And if you like talking anime as much as I do, there's a link to my Discord in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you neets next time.